Welcome to session 4 of Unit 6, still on components of a lesson plan. This time around, we are looking at evaluation, closure, pre-lesson preparation, and remarks. And these are the last components of a lesson plan. My name is Robert Chimesi Kuma. By the end of this session, you should be able to evaluate your chemistry lesson, write pre-lesson preparation for the next lesson, write the remarks for a lesson, and close a chemistry lesson. Okay, so evaluation and closure. And let's look at evaluation. You have said that students will be able to do something. Maybe you had said students will be able to explain the standard enthalpy of neutralization by the end of your lesson. Now, how do you know if students can do such explanation? You would need to evaluate to find out whether they can do what you intended they'll be able to do. The teacher asks a series of key questions which are related directly to the objectives stated in the lesson plan. Also, if you had said students will be able to explain the standard enthalpy of neutralization, then here you are going to ask them to explain the standard enthalpy of neutralization. You don't have to ask them to define the standard enthalpy of combustion when you didn't state that as your objective. So the evaluation, the questions that you are going to ask should directly reflect your objectives. If you had said you'll be able to prepare a solution, then in the evaluation, it should target preparation of solution. It should be a question that is going to require students to prepare solution to show that they have achieved the objectives that you set for them. The evaluation could be orally conducted or a written exercise. You may have said they'll be able to explain the mole concept. It could be something that you write on the board for them to write, or it could be something you write but they will still just provide answers orally, or you can just ask them, then they will provide the answers orally for you. So you need to evaluate your lesson. And evaluation here doesn't necessarily mean that you should leave everything till the end, then you evaluate everything. You can be evaluating as the lesson progresses. In some cases, after you are done with one objective, you try to ask questions, then you move on to the next. Okay, so evaluation will follow the content development. So when you are done with the stage, you can evaluate, or when you are done with all the stages, you can evaluate. After the evaluation, what do? You close your lesson. Don't leave your lesson open. Close it. How do you do that? You can do that by summarizing the main points of the lesson. And then after summarizing, you would then invite questions from your students. You can also just highlight the main points of the lesson in your closure. Then you ask students to ask questions. So that is the closure. You need to do some preparations before the lesson. So we have the pre-lesson preparation. In the pre-lesson preparation, the teacher sets out tasks for students which will help them have an insight into a new area which he intends teaching. So you are done teaching your or you are done with the presentation of your lesson. For what you are going to do next, you would need students to also prepare. Whatever you go to class to present shouldn't be the first time students are hearing certain major things in it. So maybe tomorrow we'll be doing enthalpy of combustion, and so you give student tasks to go and work on the enthalpy of combustion, so that by the time they come, at least they have gone to see certain things. Even though they may not understand, they have gone to see them. So when you mention, they can refer, they know that they have met those terms, and explanation or helping them to understand will be easy. So you should always give tasks to students ahead of your lesson. It helps a lot. Then you would now provide the remarks. This column is used after the lesson has been taught. In the remarks, the teacher notes whether the lesson did take place or not. If the lesson didn't take place, what do? You would indicate it didn't take place, and you would indicate the time that it is going to take place, or the time you are going to teach it. Something might have happened in the school, so certain activities were cancelled, certain classroom activities were cancelled, and so you couldn't teach. You would need to indicate when you are going to teach that lesson. If it took place, if you did teach the lesson, then you would have to note the strengths as well as the weaknesses in the presentation. Unfortunately, in most cases, teachers just write the lesson was successful or the lesson was delivered. That one is not enough. You should indicate the strengths and the weaknesses in the presentation. You are doing that so that you can develop or you can improve the next time. So don't just write the lesson was taught. Try to add the strengths and weaknesses. We are ending the session here with self-assessment questions as shown. We will meet again in the next session.